লুসাই আমরা যাব। So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's roundtable on BRI in Bangladesh, problems, potentials, and way forward. আমাদের সঙ্গে আজকে আমরা যাব যারা পার্টনার অর্গানাইজেশন বিভিন্ন চারটে প্রতিষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে কো-অর্গানাইজেশন তারা এটা করছেন ইন পার্টনারশিপ উইথ দ্য বিজনেস স্ট্যান্ডার্ড। সেটা হচ্ছে যে কোস্টাল লাইভলিহুড অ্যান্ড এনভায়রনমেন্টাল অ্যাকশন নেটওয়ার্ক ক্লিন, বাংলাদেশ ওয়ার্কিং গ্রুপ অন ইকোলজি অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট, রিজিওনাল ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার মনিটরিং অ্যালায়েন্স RIMA, and NGO Forum on ADB. So, আমি চারটে কো-অর্গানাইজেশনকেই অন বিহাফ অফ দ্য বিজনেস স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আপনাদের থ্যাঙ্কস যে এরকম একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইস্যুতে BRI, আমরা জানি বেল্ট অ্যান্ড রোড ইনিশিয়েটিভ, গ্লোবালি এটা একটা খুবই পপুলার একটা নেম আমরা জানি অ্যাক্রস দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড। সো আমি ফর্মালি এটা শুরু করার আগে আমি রিকোয়েস্ট করছি BRI আমাদের আজকের গ্লোবালি এটা একটা খুবই কো-পার্টনারশিপ ডক্টর কাজী মারুফুল ইসলাম, কনভেনার বাংলাদেশ ওয়ার্কিং গ্রুপ অন ইকোলজি অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট, টু ডেলিভার হিজ ওপেনিং রিমার্কস। আমি ফর্মালি এটা শুরু করার আগে আমি রিকোয়েস্ট করছি।
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Bangladesh Working Group on Ecology and Development, I welcome you all to this very important conversation this morning in collaboration with our partners. As you see, today we are undertaking a very important initiative on Belt and Road Initiative, which has been one of the major talking issues in recent years since 2016 across the region. And this initiative has been initiated by People's Republic of China. Primarily, the initiative was to support economic development along the old Silk Route countries and beyond, with a special focus on infrastructure development. But essentially and gradually this initiative has been evolved into sort of strategic partnership among the countries. And Bangladesh has been associated with this initiative. I don't say that it's been member of this initiative formally, but of course Bangladesh has taken some support and has been part of this Belt and Road Initiative for more than for close to almost a decade or so. Associated with this initiative. This initiative, as you know, today we are going to conduct a kind of a very close examination of this Belt and Road Initiative, particularly in the context of clean investment, green investment, and also concerning other issues, particularly human rights and governance issues associated with this kind of investment. Today we are going this kind of initiative. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this very important conversation. Your input, suggestions, and concerns will be discussed in great detail in the following sessions. And of course, I welcome representative from the Embassy of People's Republic of China, and I welcome you all from civil society, think tanks, and research organizations, media, for your valuable time this morning for running this very important, very sincere and close examination of Belt and Road Initiative in Bangladesh. So, with that short intervention, I would like to welcome you all to take part actively, to exchange your ideas and concerns, and of course your understanding regarding this initiative. So thank you. Let's enjoy and let's go for this conversation in the following engagement. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome you all to take part actively to
Thank you, Dr.
share
Qazi
your
Maruful
ideas
Islam,
and-
for your opening remarks,
issues
and
concerns,
you actually
and of course your understanding
set the tone.
regarding this initiative.
Like, you know,
So,
Chinese,
thank
we
you.
know
Let's-
the
let's,
BRI
enjoy and let's,
is
go for
actually
this
launched in
conversation in the
2013,
following
and
engagement. Thank you
total
so much.
outstanding, you know, stocks, including pipeline, it is now more than $1.3 trillion. And Bangladesh is also, you know, Bangladesh's many large projects have been funded by China and under that BRI initiative. So we know we'll, you know, hear from you, representatives from diversified areas, academicians, researchers, think tanks, and NGO personalities. And we have with us Mr. Han Kun, President, Chinese Enterprises Associations in Bangladesh. So thank you, Mr. Han, for joining us today. Yes. So we know, you know, BRI is very important, not only for Bangladesh, it is across the world, you know, from Asia to Africa, and even Europe. So,
thank you, Mr.
but
Han, for
there are
joining
some
us
questions.
today.
Dr. Qazi Maruful Islam pointed out that you know, now clean investment, green investment, sustainability, so environmental issues, labor issues, so and so. I think these issues will come up in our discussions. Now I want to request Mr. But there are some questions. Dr. Qazi Maruful Islam pointed out that you know, now clean investment, green investment, sustainability. So
Hassan Mehdi bhai,
Mr. Hassan Mehdi, Chief Executive, Coastal Livelihood and Environmental Action Network, CLEAN. So Mr. Hassan will present a keynote paper. So I welcome you to present your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for coming and joining here
Hassan
in
Mehdi
this
bhai, Mr.
joint
Hassan Mehdi,
initiative
Chief
of CLEAN,
Executive,
Bangladesh Working
Coastal
Group
Livelihood
on
and
Ecology and Development,
Environmental
NGO Forum on
Action
ADB,
Network,
and
So,
also
Mr.
the
Hassan
Regional
will
Infrastructure
present
Monitoring
a
Alliance,
keynote
RIMA.
paper. So
So
welcome you to present your.
I'm going to start from
Thank you very
actually
much.
our old
Thank you
history,
everybody
ancient
for
history of
coming and
Bangladesh
joining
and
here
China,
in this, joint
which
initiative of
started,
CLEAN,
you know,
Bangladesh Working Group
before
on
the
Ecology
Common
and
Era,
Development,
even,
NGO Forum on
you
ADB,
know, 250
and
years
also,
before the Common
the
Era,
Regional Infrastructure
when,
Monitoring Alliance, RIMA.
and Chinese, at that time, Chinese kings used to take muslin
I'm
clothes
going to
from here,
start
and
from
we used
actually
to
our
import, especially
history,
sugar and other
ancient
things
history
from
of
China
Bangladesh
also,
and China,
at that time.
which
And from
started,
there,
you know,
we got
before
some
the
names
Common
from
Era,
China
even,
also, you
you
know.
know, 250
Sugar we call
years
chini,
before the
which is
Common
chin.
Era.
We
And
porcelain we call
Chinese-
chinamati,
At that time, Chinese
which is
kings used to
Chinese
take
art
muslin
like that thing.
clothes from
Peanut
here,
we
and
call
used to
chinabadam.
import, especially
Like
sugar
that,
and other
least
things
we
from
got
China.
China joke. So these
that
words
time.
we have
And
here,
from
which is
there,
related to China.
We got some names from China also.
Yeah,
you know.
cha is from also
Sugar we
tea,
call chin,
che,
which is chin.
cha.
Chin.
So,
we
but
porcelain
we
we
are
call chinamati.
we are here in Bangladesh. You can
which
see
is
on the map
Chinese
that
art like
there
that
are
thing.
some choke
Peanut we
points
call chinabadam.
where this, you know,
Like that,
several
least we can
issues are
China
there.
joke. So this
This is
words we have
geopolitical
here,
issues
which is related to China.
between China, India, China, Pakistan,
Yeah,
China,
cha is from
Bangladesh,
also.
and
Tea.
Bangladesh,
Che.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. It's interrelated to each
but
other.
We are here in Bangladesh.
These are the conflict zones in this
there are
South
some choke
and
points
Southeast Asia.
where
So
you know,
that's
several issues are
we
there.
have to always
This is
take
geopolitical
decisions
issues,
considering this,
between
you know,
China,
conflict
India,
areas.
China, Pakistan, China,
What are the
and
geopolitical
Bangladesh,
issues?
Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. It's interrelated to each other.
So after a
These
long,
are the conflict
in
zones in
the
this
embassy
South
in China and
Southeast
Bangladesh
Asia.
started in 1976,
that's-
and then the relationship
have to
was
always
at that
take
time
decisions.
was depending on the relationship between these countries. But in 2010, the former Prime Minister's visit to Beijing, after that an economic relationship started, a new relationship which was not depending on politics, on geopolitics, but on economic development and infrastructure. Then in 2016, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Bangladesh in October 2016, and both parties signed 15 agreements and MOUs on 12 loan agreements for investing around $25 billion here in Bangladesh under BRI. Some of them are under BRI and some of them are under joint venture projects. In 2019, China became the largest source of foreign direct investment in Bangladesh. So that's then after falling of former government, I want to say that this is the political continuity that after when this new government, interim government came in power, they didn't change the the path of the development initiatives. The chief advisor Muhammad Yunus, he visited China on 26 to 20 March this year, and he committed to continue the relationship, economic relationship with China. And China has a large, some large investment in Bangladesh, and which of course contribute to economic development of the country and infrastructure development especially. I can mention some of the projects here, which is Karnopuli Tunnel, which is around $1.2 billion, Padda Rail Bridge, which is around $2.1 billion, total around $3.3 billion, Paira Coal Power Plant, which is $1.9 billion, Barishal Coal Power Plant, around $550 million, Potuakhali Coal Power Plant, $1.8 billion, Bashkhali Coal Power Plant, $1.8 billion around, Dasherkandi Sewerage Treatment Plant, which is $1.4 billion project, Maheshkhali Oil Tank, which is around $1 billion project. So these are the very mega projects in Bangladesh, which is financed by China, and also EPC contractors are from China. So here is the actually the foreign direct investments. If you see that Chinese investment as financing is around, in these 11 projects, it's around $17 billion. But here you can find that the FDI is only $1.4 billion, foreign direct investment. And 70% of that FDI, 56% of that FDI is in the power sector. And then the second sector is ready-made garments or textiles, 204 million, and trading only 51 million. Interestingly, there is no significant investment in the potential new sectors like ICT, like manufacturing or green technology. These are the sectors which is very traditional sectors here in Bangladesh, like power, pharmaceuticals, leather products, construction, trading, and ready-made garments. Second one is, if you see the energy investment, you can see the whole energy investment is around $6.57 billion loan and 1.22 billion equity in energy sector only. Interestingly, China has not provided any loan for renewable energy in Bangladesh till now. Whichever the $197 million in renewable energy is the equity investment, not loan, any loan. And again, in the false solution, the total investment is 190 million from China, 33 million is equity investment, and 157 million is the loan from Chinese banks. In false solutions means Dhaka WT power plant, which is a false solution project. Now, if you see the NRD portfolio, total Chinese investment is around 5,610 megawatt in Bangladesh, in which 5,040 megawatt is only in fossil fuels. Then in renewables, only 528 megawatt. Among that, coal power plant 4,171 megawatt, solar is 468 megawatt, and WT power plant is 42.5 megawatt. This is the picture in energy sector. So there, and in this context, we know that the China is the largest implementer of renewable energy in the world and largest investor also in the renewable energy in the world. Almost 55% of total investment in renewable energy all over the world comes from China. But in Bangladesh, the picture is totally different. So now there are some issues related to Chinese investment here. One is the usually there is no disclosure from Chinese companies, Chinese investors, that what is the project, who are going to implement, how much money, and where it is going to happen. There is no information for the public. Second one is, most of the time the money is coming as a commercial loan with EPC contractors, but not as a foreign direct investment, which creates more permanent jobs and economic activities here. Third is the 70% goods and services we have to buy from China if we take Chinese loan, and through that, the Chinese companies make business, but not the local companies or local contractors and local service providers. The fourth one is, there is no disclosure of EIA if any IFI or international financial institutes doesn't force them. Otherwise, they don't disclose it. That is a problem, because we cannot talk about the negative impact or any positive support even about the project if we cannot get the EIA reports. There is no formal disclosure of the project budget, etc. And there is a cultural difference between the Chinese supervisors or workers and also Bangladeshi workers. And we saw several clashes in Bashkhali, in Paira, in Khulna, Rupsha 800 megawatt power plant. We saw that clashes between the two groups, and there are incidents of killing and also several court cases on that things. So those are things we should take care of. And now I'm going to just give some recommendations to the Chinese Chinese authorities, Chinese counterparts. One is shifting from contracting to investment. This contracting and this commercial loans it is better to go to direct foreign investment in the economic zones and also in different sectors which are newly emerging sectors and also very potential in Bangladesh. Chinese government must enforce contractors' accountability, especially the state-owned enterprises and private contractors who are engaged with the Go Global policies. It's a reputational damage for China also. You saw that the investment in fossil fuel and renewables has a big difference. So there should be adhere to greening pledges, although the President Xi Jinping pledged that China will not construct any coal power plant in any countries in the world after 2021. But we saw that Paira second phase and Barishal second phase is already in the pipeline. We wrote several times to the Chinese authorities, but they didn't respond any time, not a single time. That what are they going to do? They are going to cancel it, or they are going to continue with it. Address the geopolitical trust gap. Like a recent incident is an Indian company was working in Mongla port expansion and construction. Bangladesh government and Chinese government bilaterally decided that the Indian contractor will go out and a Chinese contractor will do that. That raised the tensions more in the geopolitics. So we should not raise geopolitical tensions more with a small project like $40 million. These interest, our greater interest is much more than that. Close the false solutions loophole. China is not financing, if not financing coal, I can see that they are interested to finance in gas and also other false solutions, especially WTE project here. So China should stop financing this type of bad projects, any type of fossil fuel power plant, because China has that capacity to promote renewables in the other countries. Strengthen safeguards for the local workers and laborers and protect their human rights, and finance for just and local transitions like distributed renewable energy and locally led adaptation projects. That's my recommendations. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mehdi, for your nice presentation. And you have shown that how China is basically giving Bangladesh loans, then actually foreign direct investment, which you said that Bangladesh needs it the most, for job creations and all. Definitely we have with us Mr. Han. He will respond on some of these issues. You have mentioned no disclosure of Chinese deals and all. Then you have put forward some recommendations also. So we'll hear from our rest of the speakers and from our Chinese guest. So thank you, Mr. Mehdi, for your presentation. So now we want to open the floor, and want to begin with Mr. Ryan Hassan, Executive Director, Safety and Rights Society, SOS.
NGO Forum on ADB.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it is
Wrong. Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah. Okay, fine.
written. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So
Ryan Hassan.
Ryan Hassan, NGO Forum. Right. J. So Mr. Ryan Hassan, NGO Forum on ADB, he will speak on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I think this is a great event. Thank you, Business Standard and all the organizers. It's an honor for us to speak. So first I would like to address the issue of how is China a development partner in the long term for lower and middle income countries here in Asia, right? So the NGO Forum on ADB, which is our network of civil society organizations, we closely, critically engage the Asian Development Bank. And since 2016, we critically engage the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. At the early days of the bank, when there were no policies on safeguards and disclosure, we argued with the bank back and forth, and we gave a lot of recommendations, and now there are systems in place. So the positive part of this is a multilateral development bank led by China does have standards. Are the standards perfectly working? That's a different issue. But there was an acceptability of the AIIB that as a multilateral development bank, it should have safeguards policies, it should have information disclosure, it should have an accountability mechanism, it should have sectoral policies on energy, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so that's on the positive side. The point which I first want to make here is, why does a country like Bangladesh find the World Bank and the ADB more dependable as a development partner versus going to Chinese financing? Because Chinese financing is extremely fast, as we have seen in the last decade. There has been, I think, 10, 20 billions of dollars of almost $40 billion of investments. Right? So if you notice our country, we are climate vulnerable. We have floods, we have political upheaval. We have seen that the World Bank and ADB have stayed with us throughout that journey. So the relationship is almost 50 years with the bureaucracy. So what does that mean? That there is a sort of an economic acceptance of the reality of World Bank and ADB, whereas it's very new for us to deal with Chinese financial institutions and project developers. So there's a gap in, you could say, understanding each other. Now, I'll bring an example which is not from Bangladesh. Let's bring the Sri Lankan example. So Sri Lanka suffered a deep debt crisis and went through a revolution. The country was in a mess. The leadership fled and all of that. Our members in Sri Lanka first demanded the World Bank and the ADB to restructure the existing loans because the country needed to fix its economy before they can start repaying. World Bank and ADB quickly responded and restructured loans, gave more grace period, gave more time, and then there was a conversation between the Sri Lankan government and the World Bank and ADB, and things were softened enough for a little while for the economy to stabilize. At that point in time, the Chinese financial institutions were very rigid. They did not restructure the loans, and Sri Lanka had to keep up maintaining the repayments as it was scheduled, and it was much later after the new government was formed that the Chinese banks started to become a little bit more softer and started to restructure. The point I'm trying to make here is I do not think China is a short-term partner of Bangladesh. I think China is here to stay for a very, very long time. As we see, the nature of the investments are very, very deep. Therefore, I think it cannot be this hard as a structure. It has to be, I guess, open and inclusive. Okay, now let me bring my focus on the project level side, and I will keep it limited because other speakers will speak. I want to bring the issue of environmental and social compliance and responsibility and the impact on communities and the environment because of Chinese projects, right? How do we reduce this and how do we make it better? Now, China does not have a clear policy on outbound environmental social compliance by Chinese financial or project developers when they are working in other countries. Internally, China has a very strong environmental and social guideline system for Chinese investments domestically, but this does not apply when it comes to outbound investment. So the concerns which Mehdi Bhai raised, we don't know enough about the projects. So classically, communities need to know what the project is going to be about. You have to know if my village is going to be displaced. I have to know if my agricultural land will be taken away. So pre-project, there has to be a way to listen to the people about what you're building there and how that might affect them. So this is something which I think is a cultural shift in the way China does things, but China is moving in the right direction. So I'll end with probably saying one example which we heard recently in Latin America, that there is a green credit online facility co-financed between ARAI-b and China Exim Bank. And this is the first time China Exim agreed to have a local grievance redress mechanism for that particular project. This is historic. So China in Latin America, for the first time ever from any Chinese financial institution, established a local level grievance redress mechanism where people can complain if project impacts go wrong. And this is a positive. I hope that it can be applied to the various projects, especially moving forward in Bangladesh, because if you don't listen to us, you will not know what is wrong. And we want you guys to stay and invest and build, but build it properly and be environmentally and socially responsible. I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, for your nice inputs and pointing out some, important issues, and which is rightly said, China is not a short-term partner. Maybe they will, last for years because of their investing in many large mega projects and all. And Chinese internal, they're cautious about their own environmental and safety issues, but actually when they go outside of their country, they're not that. So, okay, I think, so we have many speakers. Yes, whatever you want to say, I think you have the points, but some points I expect from you that what actually, why China is not investing in renewables in Bangladesh, why they are going for fossil fuels actually, and what Bangladesh needs to do so that countries like China, they shift their focus toward renewable energy from fossil fuel, and our regulations or incentives or anything should Bangladesh offer them. So this kind of issues, I think, if comes from your views, that will be, I think, that will actually be very balancing, not just pointing out the problems of Chinese investments. So now I want to request the next speaker. Next speaker is Mr. Tarim Chaudhuri Ariba, Climate and Health Lead, Global Strategic Communications Council.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Tahrim Chaudhuri Ariba, and I work as the Global Climate and Health Lead, Global Climate Impacts and Health Lead at GSCC. GSCC is Global Strategic Communications Council. Just a line about GSCC is a collaborative organization of communication professionals. We work across the globe and we work on every kind of issue related to climate, energy, environment. And I am leading their climate and health impacts team. So I actually want to start by firstly saying that Bangladesh is overall very appreciative of China's strategic partnership over the last couple of decades, since the beginning of time when Bangladesh was just born. We have come a long way, and we have come this way with this continuous support that we've gotten from China. So we're really appreciative and grateful for that. Thank you. Now, from my end, what I think is for this strategic partnership to be actually sustainable, to be actually long-term, and can I emphasize that for it to be mutually beneficial for both of these economies and countries, I think we need a broader collaborative and cohesive understanding of what financial investments and what infrastructural investments are actually required versus what is actually being implemented. Like many of my peers here in this roundtable have mentioned, that what we need is a lot of strong investments in renewable energy sector. As we know that Bangladesh is still in the category of less developing country. We are a vulnerable and poor country. We are the 7th most climate vulnerable country in the world. Hence, we need an enabling ecosystem, financial ecosystem, which really facilitates and supports us to move forward economically. Because I'm strongly working on the climate and health impacts, I just want to touch base on that, saying that compared to the global north, if I can say, the global south countries face much bigger and more life-threatening health impacts of climate change, just because of where we are located on the geography, on the map where we are. So we face brutal climate and health impacts because of climate change. On top of these existing health impacts and health vulnerability that majority of the populations of Bangladesh face, we see that this investment and this infrastructural investment that China has been doing in Bangladesh, the price of it is actually paid by many climate vulnerable populations who face the additional burden of having to pay for their health impacts, which can lead up to losses in working days, losses in daily wage laborers, and they have an additional pressure to be able to pay out-of-pocket expenses to avail basic primary health care. Because in all honesty, we all know Bangladesh does not have a system where we get health insurance, so we need to pay out-of-pocket expenditure. So for example, in these climate vulnerable already existing areas where there are implementations of power plants, we do see there has been a lot of impact on air pollution, which affects maternal and child health, which causes respiratory illnesses, which is also causing a lot of impacts on pregnant women and maternal health primarily. So these vulnerable populations are not only left alone, not only faced with financial and environmental insecurity, but also faced with a health impact, which is the last thing they'd actually want on their existing plate full of problems. Lastly, I think another point which I want to make is this broad investment comes with a financial burden to the country, of course, because this is something that the taxpayers of Bangladesh have to be able to pay back with interest to a certain extent in some cases. So I just want to flag that this is a financial investment which Bangladesh has to pay back, meaning Bangladesh has to then move away funding or move away their budgets from other sectors which need immediate and urgent development, such as the health sector. So Bangladesh needs health system strengthening, and we can't deny that Bangladesh's health system needs a lot of support and strengthening. And the finances that we have to pay back to countries, that comes in the form of loans and investments, we could have actually been able to use it appropriately in strengthening other health systems, which would overall ensure the health and well-being of the wider population in Bangladesh. So I think I will end my my talk now just to urge for a more sustainable, effective, transparent mechanism that really mutually benefits the people of both the countries, the economy of both the countries, not just one country. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aar'ib, for making some important points. Actually, this partnership has to be, sustainable and, cohesive. And you have rightly pointed out the impacts on, vulnerable group, especially climate affected people. And yes, taxpayers' money has to be paid for, repaying the loans, but Bangladesh also needs infrastructure badly. We could have made maybe metro rail after 10 years with our own money by savings, or the Padma Bridge after 10 years. But definitely there are opportunity lost also. So we have to borrow wisely, which is sustainable, and that benefits actually Bangladeshi people. So we have to keep that in mind. So thank you for your points. Now I want to request Mr. Monowar Mustafa, Executive Member, Bangladesh Working Group on Ecology and Development.
Well, good morning, and thank you everyone, especially the organizers who have invited me to share some of my thoughts and ideas as far as Chinese investment in Bangladesh is concerned. Well, this is an interesting thing to reflect on, but very difficult to reflect on immediately after Mehdi's presentation, because it was really comprehensive and it encompasses almost all issues related to Chinese investment in Bangladesh. However, I want to raise just three highlight or re-emphasize three major points related to Chinese investment in Bangladesh. But let me share just one thing at the very outset. Chinese relationship between Bangladesh and China evolved around during the last five decades. And Chinese investment in Bangladesh development is phenomenal. And it's like a significant amount of Chinese investment goes to power and energy sector, especially both in the fossil fuel and renewable. And what is remarkable that we have been observing during the last couple of years, that Chinese investment is moving towards renewable from the fossil fuel very gradually, although it's slow pace, but it's moving towards renewable. That's significant. Perhaps one of the main reasons behind this shift towards renewable is Chinese president's place in COP26, right, in 2020, not to fund fossil fuel projects in foreign countries. That's something remarkable. We must appreciate it. But the pace of investment in the renewable is not that much now that we expect. That is something one of the concern. This is something, but I really appreciated the trend is moving towards renewable. That's really interesting to observe. But as I have been saying, that I intend to raise three issues related to Chinese investment. The first one is transparency transparency of Chinese projects, transparency of Chinese loan. This is what I am trying to say, that how easy it is to get information on those Chinese investment. That is what we want to see, especially people who are working in this terrain, like in terms of research, campaign, advocacy. They want to get ready-made information, even in a click, right? So this is, in terms of transparency, one of the biggest allegation that we have been, quote unquote, allegation that we have been hearing for last couple of years, that, oh, it's very difficult to get information from Chinese authorities, be it private or public. So transparency is a crucial issue that needs to be addressed by the authorities. The second one is the responsiveness of the authorities and engagement with the CSOs and local communities. Well, this is another allegation that we always want to say, oh, they are not responsive. If you send a letter to the Chinese authorities, be it private or public, it gets long time to get response, even sometimes non-responded, left non-responded. So this is an issue that needs to be critically thought about. And the third point is, to what extent Chinese authorities, be it private or public, respect to human rights in general and labor rights in particular. Because what we have seen in Bashkali, right, couple of two years back, people's rights, they are killed, they are abducted. So this is a gross violation of human rights that a community or a country cannot accept. So this is an issue that Chinese authorities or Chinese projects should seriously take into account, that how responsive they would be to take this issue seriously. So these are the three issues. While we are talking about Chinese investment in Bangladesh, these are the three issues, I think, these are the major issues that we need to think about, and we should engage with Chinese authorities, financiers, that to what extent they would be contributing to developing this, improving this situation. That was my points. I will stop here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. But who is to blame actually? Is it Bangladesh's failure to, we cannot, make them transparent or responsive, or, labor and human rights issues? So is it, anybody who, want to invest in other countries, he or she will, try to get the max benefit out of their investment. So it is the host country which actually has to raise all these issues, that these are their national standards and all. So is it not a failure from Bangladesh? What do you think, Mr.
Well,
Mohan?
the very quick response. The responsiveness comes from both sides. And what he has been raising on interesting point, that the safeguard standard that is followed by Chinese government in their own land, that is not followed by Bangladesh, or so it essentially means that there are double standards as far as Chinese investment is concerned. China is concerned about the Chinese citizens, their life, their health, etc. But we Bangladeshis are human beings as well. The same should be applied to Bangladeshi citizens. But Chinese investment doesn't follow that rule. We know any investment will see the highest benefit. That's true, but there are some bottom lines. Bottom lines is like life, liberty, property. These are the bottom lines. You cannot underestimate the lives of Bangladeshis when comparing with China. So these are some of the issues that is very debatable, and we need to come to a point. OECD has different standards, they must follow that, and those are something very to a certain extent they are transparent when compared with the Chinese one. So these are the things that different countries are experiencing while dealing with different projects or finances or investment. So this is something I intend to bring the attention of all to reflect on, and let's see what we can come up with. He's something. Thank you. Sorry.
Mr. Saeed, yes,
So-
Mr.
so-
Riyadh. Oh,
So, Han,
okay,
Mister, you want to
please,
talk? Yeah, it's okay. I will give you the mic
Okay,
just
then.
after him. Okay.
Please, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. Yeah, Mr. Han. So you can speak. So you already hear some points, you know. So just for your just a reminder, what are the points came here? Basically,
Yes,
you know,
I
this
think,
transparency,
just
disclosure, and
just,
all. No, you can speak in details. And just I have a question to you. So you know, we are talking that. You know, why Chinese investment are heavily focused on fossil fuel, not in renewables? What actually, we in recent days, hear from Chinese community, Chinese investors that they want to invest in Bangladesh's renewable sector, but there are some, bottlenecks. So what actually you want? What Bangladesh can offer, incentives or regulatory issues, simplifications and all, what actually you want that, will help Bangladesh, get Chinese investment in renewable sectors. Okay. So that is my question, and you whatever you want to say, you can, please.
Thank you.
Han, President,
you.
Chinese Enterprises Association of Bangladesh.
Thank you so much. So I write down all the issues raised and all the appreciation points which you also raised. So firstly, let me briefly introduce. I do not want to block such a continuation of dialogue. I just one point. So first, I'm the president of a Chinese Enterprises Association in Bangladesh. So we have been here for around 20 years around. So we have around 250 companies. So shortly regarding Mr. Riyadh and also Mr. Mustafa's question, please go ahead after this point. So seems like there is a misinterpretation or misconception or even misunderstanding that Chinese companies use double standard regarding environment in different country, and also even extreme to go further extreme that maybe Chinese take good thing for themselves but leave bad things to Bangladeshi and others. I think there is a misconception because regarding the environment and the social and the social impact on brain or generated by different project. China is also in the learning curve, to be very frankly, because anyway, China is also coming through from a developing country. So we are not as advanced as Western countries have so advanced, so high standard of environment. So that is the reality. So since the BRI was raised in 2013, such environment, green development, social responsibilities was not clear and not so much being mentioned about. But you will find that in 2019, the second forum of BRI was held in Beijing. Such green development, sustainable development, environmental cares, such things gradually becomes a topic of the BRI. So that means initially we are not there, gradually we are there, and I hope that in the future the standard will be higher, I'm sure. So this is a general idea. Another issue is in the BRI initiatives, I read that so no matter it is the construction or financing, there is a respect for the local rules and local regulations, because suppose some too high standard implemented in China, that will delay the project implementation, for sure. So is the case in Bangladesh. So there is always a balance. You want to achieve the higher or highest standard, or you want to achieve a balance that to control the environmental problems in a basic way and give development development and opportunities to go ahead a little bit. I think balance should be there, because we cannot require ourselves and require others that you have to achieve this standard overnight. We have to come in an incremental way that, yes, at this moment I need this, at that moment I need that. So finally there is a balance. So this is one point I should mention, because seems like that a lot of concerns are there. So actually, to be very frankly, this is also my first time to attend such seminars. I also learn a lot, but specific points we cannot go to another extreme. That yes, this is my gentle reminder. Please go ahead. And finally, I want to share something which a lot of concerns are raised and also a lot of appreciation are there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please go ahead. Sorry.
Please,
to
I think
interrupt.
you huh? Okay.
Okay. Okay. In that case, thank you so much for giving me some time. So a little bit. Sorry. If it is too long, please stop me at any time. So. In Mr. Hassan's presentation, I saw if in the later stage you give me an opportunity to go through your slides one page by one, slides by one slides. So I would like to say that BRI was always misinterpreted that Chinese government is going to distribute globally. So this is a lot of misconception are there. Actually, it is a partnership mechanism. That means mutually promote the development mechanism, not then they distribute it everywhere and do infrastructure project. I think that is a misconception. So the MOU between Bangladesh and China signed in 2016, where the president come to visit Bangladesh. That the full name is that the production capacity strengthening and the reinforcement, something like that. That means in the project, some are to be financed by Chinese government. Some are needs to be invested by Chinese investors. Some are needed from both Bangladesh investor and Chinese investor together to bring the project to the land. So there is a very diverse and a multiple model to develop BRI. So that when people said you give this money, you do this, but you have some consequences, especially negative consequences. So the assumption maybe needs to be checked whether this money is used for environmental disasters. Actually, this is for the development first. Then there is consequences. I'm sure about that. And also I see the newspaper that there are. And regarding why in the past Chinese always invest in the fossil fuel power plant rather than renewables, actually we should see the renewable development history globally. So renewable energy developed in last 30 years. So why China could overtake European country as a global leader in renewable energy? Because Chinese use different 5-year plans to regulate that, yes, we need to foster, we need to encourage, we need to give support on the renewable energy development. And the pilot and the experiment was first done in China. Then gradually solar panel go to global and renewable energy go to the global market. But it is not overnight that we have renewable energy, we immediately going out to invest in renewable. Why some country choose fossil fuel power plant? Because the technology are more mature at that time, 30 years, 20 years, or even 15 years ago. The technology is so mature and so advanced at that time for the now fossil fuel power plant. But at that time, renewable energy is not so advanced. not so sophisticated. And even China is still cultivate their own industries into the being. So they cannot spread over the global to make renewable investment. So this is one end. Another end is that renewable energy in global market, Middle East take a first step. And China for sure take first step. And ASEAN country take first step. But seems like South Asia countries a little bit lag behind. There is a lot of constraints we need to bear in our mind. Suppose take a case of Bangladesh. So we are land-thirsty country. So you see, especially for the solar renewables. So they need a huge land, which have conflict with our cultivate agriculture land, with our land of other purpose. So if we are going to develop renewable energy, we need to innovatively to develop the technologies. For example, agrovoltaics, fishing solars, and also other way of renewable energy. So there is a time lag to develop such technology or such investment in Bangladesh. So this is one end from the investors' perspective. But for the government perspective, also you just give me a good reminder that government also needs to pave some rule to attract the renewable investment, no matter coming from China or coming from other countries. If there is a good policy to attract foreign investors, or if government can pave a good way to take the investor easily come to make investment, I think that also should be considered during the process. So this is the second point I would like to see. Another thing is that yes, the financing cost. People complain that Chinese financing cost is relatively higher. So I would like to differentiate it or categorize the loans which Bangladesh usually take in the last 30, 40 years or 50 years. Here, yes, the MDBs like World Bank, ADBs have been working in Bangladesh for quite a long time. So the adaptability and like Mr. Rian said that the economic acceptability is much better than other development partners. JICA has been in Bangladesh much longer than Chinese finances. So Chinese finance is just coming in recent 10 or 20 years. So they are just adapting themselves to the global market. Actually, I would like to explain in a global arena that suppose China give Bangladesh a very preferential rate in finance cost, then the other development partners of China will require that why you give Bangladesh that, but you give me that. So this is a question. Another thing is that global financing cost by US dollar now is 6 or 7% global market. So Chinese financing usually it is 2% at this moment. So you will see that each dollar Chinese finance Bangladesh project, they will lose 4%. So to make the financing system sustainable, the financial institutions will consider not
I think
only
it is 3%, not 2%. 3% in dollar loan, and
later on I will share this.
it is a bit less in RMB loan, I think.
Okay, this one. So the financial institutions, they first also consider how to make themselves sustainable. So this is the first. Second, regarding your financing cost. So usually Chinese financing is 2+. The plus means management fee or commitment fee. That is not interest rate. Interest is based on the principles, but management fee is just one-time charge. It is not that much. So JICA finance is much lower. JICA finance is much lower, but please consider a loop. Chinese contractors' price compare with other foreign contractors' price. Maybe there are 1, 2, or even 3 times difference. So you will say there is a loop. And also ADB now is, ADB, so means Riyadh. ADB have 2 categories. One is concessional, it's much lower, 1 to 2%, something like that. And also ADB will not give 100% concessional loans. They have market-based loans, commercial things. It is fully commercial things. World Bank also have two loans. One is a concessional loan. IDA loans, sometimes very cheaper and even sometimes free. But they also have a scale-up facilities. It is a market-based interest rate. So in this, from this point of view, you will see that a lot of options being put in front of Bangladesh government that you will choose which one is suitable to you. If you need a faster, as someone said, faster loans, you may take this one. If you want to cheaper, but this is not so urgent, you take the loans. So I think that it is lucky for Bangladesh to have so many development partners to choose that you choose this way, that way. So this is the question I want to see. Maybe I take too much time. Maybe I think give other guests the first opportunities. I will maybe
Thank you,
give
Mr. Han.
second chance. Maybe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now to request Mr. Wasifur Rahman Tonmoy, Coordinator, Capacity Development Unit, Manusher Jonno Foundation. Mr. Wasifur Rahman.
Yeah, thank you. So I would like to start with a little bit of my organization's introduction. That is, Manusher Jonno Foundation has been working last 23 years on human rights and governance. Basically, we are working for the marginalized community in different areas in Bangladesh, and also try to uphold the rights, human rights of marginalized communities. So, person with disability, ethnic minority, and other marginalized community. It's a little bit difficult for me to discuss about the investment, other issues, rather touching, I'm working in the social issues for the human rights Jaga. But I would like to address few things, though Mehdi bhai already informed us that China has a long friendship experience with us, with Bangladesh, and under the BRI, the huge amount is coming, investments coming from China to Bangladesh. So I would like to address one is that the trade imbalance with the China. The deficit with the China trade deficit has been large and is growing. If you see the statistics of the fiscal year 23 to 24, Bangladesh imported goods worth USD 16.64 billion from China. On the other hand, it exports to China only USD 715.4 million. So this trade imbalance, I think it's an issue that should be addressed in both the parties. And also, despite China granting duty-free access of 98% Bangladeshi products, but unfortunately, Bangladesh cannot capitalize those things because the limited product diversification of this is our fault. But I think that should be addressed also by the Bangladeshi community or Bangladeshi government. Monor bhai addressed the issues of the transparency. I would like to add is the governance issue of that whole system of investment. Because some critics says of China's loan points procurement and contracting practice, it's a sole source process. So this became more controversy. This raises more controversy. And this means that concerns about the cost efficiency, project quality, and the long-term sustainability. And also this sole sourcings also flags the risks of the over-dependence of the China technology for Bangladesh. And also I would like to address few social issues because there are big projects that also caused the displacement of resettlement and resettlement of the marginalized community in different areas. If you see the major infrastructure, that is land acquisition and sometimes displacing families and affecting the farmers' livelihoods. That should be addressed that time. And also the inadequate the compensations or the delayed the resettlement support can create a long-term social vulnerability for the marginalized communities, especially coastal belt areas. And Mehdi bhai, Monor bhai already addressed the environment stress and the communities issues, the coal-based energy products, that is also the pollutions increases, raises in the field, and the labor rights and the safety concerns issues also raised by few areas. Say, for example, the reports of the poor safety standards for the labor and also long working hours. This create a dispute in the community because in the area of the different infrastructure, the China people are also working. So their working hours, their management, their payment is big difference comparing to the Bangladeshi community, Bangladeshi laborers. So there's few areas that is the unrest situations also arises and for this reason. So I would like to complete my questions or my answers in this regard. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Wasir Rahman Tanmay, coordinator, মানুষের জন্য ফাউন্ডেশনে কাজ করছেন. So for your nice points on basically trade issues actually were ignored so far in our discussions, but you pointed it out nicely. So now I want to open the floor. I think anyone can speak, but please mention your name because it is being, live broadcast. So please just mention your name and on the mic, please.
জি আমি বাংলায় বলতেছি আমার নাম তৌহিদুল ইসলাম শাহজাদা আমার সংস্থার নাম প্রান্তজন আমরা মূলত কোস্টাল বেল্ট এরিয়ায় কাজ করছি এবং পটুয়াখালী পায়রাতে আমাদের কার্যক্রম চলছে এবং সেখানে যত মেগা স্ট্রাকচার যেগুলো আছে সেগুলোকে আমরা আসলে ওয়াচের ভিতরে রাখছি তারা কিভাবে কি করছে তাদের এনভায়রনমেন্টাল কতটুকু ক্ষতি করছে এবং লাইভলিহুডের মেগা স্ট্রাকচারগুলো কতটুকু ক্ষতি করছে সেগুলো আমরা ওয়াচ করছি এবং এখানে যেহেতু ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি বিজনেস স্ট্যান্ডার্ড এবং ক্লিনকে আজকে এখানে আলোচনা করার জন্য বিআরআইয়ের উপরে আমাকে আমন্ত্রণ জানানোর জন্য আবারও ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি বিআরআই এবং চায়না বিআরআই হলো বাংলাদেশের খুব বড় একটি উন্নয়ন বা অবকাঠামো উন্নয়নের একটি অংশীদার এবং 2013 বা 16 সাল থেকে বাংলাদেশ এটার সাথে যুক্ত হয়েছে এবং তারা কমিটমেন্ট করেছে যে $26 বিলিয়ন আর বাংলাদেশকে তারা সেখানে দিবে এবং যদি তারা বড় বড় যে পরিবহন জ্বালানি বা প্রযুক্তিতে যেভাবে তারা ইনভেস্ট করছে তার বাইরেও যদি তারা সবুজ জ্বালানিতে ইনভেস্ট করত তাহলে 2040 সালে যেভাবে আমাদের টার্গেট ছিল যে 40% আমরা রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জির দিকে যেতে চাই সেটা আরও আমাদের জন্য সহজ হতো এবং বিআরআইয়ের পজিটিভ দিকগুলো অনেক আছে কানেক্টিভিটি বাড়া ভ্যালু চেইনে আমাদের সাথে অ্যাড করে আমাদের কর্মসংস্থান সৃষ্টি করে এবং আরও অনেক সুবিধাজনক জায়গা আছে বিআরআই এবং যদি এই বিআরআইয়ের মধ্যে থেকে আমরা শিল্পকে আরও বাড়াতে পারি বা আমাদের উৎপাদনকে বাড়াতে পারি তাহলে আমাদের আমদানি নির্ভর দেশ না হয়ে আমরা আঞ্চলিক রপ্তানি নির্ভর দেশও আমরা হতে পারি এটা হলো বিআরআইয়ের সফলতা বা আমাদের জন্য এখন এর বাইরে হলো যে প্রতিবন্ধকতাও কিছু আছে যেমন প্রতিবন্ধকতাকে আমরা যেভাবে দেখি যে চাইনিজ ঋণের উচ্চ সুদ সেটা আমাদের জন্য একটা প্রতিবন্ধকতা এবং হলো যে অস্বচ্ছ চুক্তি যেগুলো জবাবদিহিতার কোনো জায়গা আসলে চুক্তির ভিতরে থাকে না সেটা আমাদের জন্য একটা প্রতিবন্ধকতা এর বাইরে হলো যে বিআরআইয়ের যত প্রকল্পগুলো আছে তার ভিতরে 59% বিআরআই প্রকল্পই গভর্নেন্স এবং পরিবেশের ঝুঁকি রয়েছে এইগুলোকে আসলে আমাদের ভিতরে নিয়ে আসতে হবে এবং হলো যে ভাই একটু আগে বললেন তনবার ভাই যে আমাদের ওখানে ভূমি অধিগ্রহণ শ্রমিক অধিকার সেই জিনিসগুলো তো আছেই এবং চায়না ঘোষণা করেছে যে তারা আর সামনে কয়লায় কোল পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট ইনভেস্ট করবে না কিন্তু বিদ্যমান যে কোল পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টগুলো তারা করেছে সেখানে তাদের আমাদের যে জলবায়ু লক্ষ্যমাত্রার সাথে সাংঘর্ষিক এবং হলো আমাদের অঞ্চলের বায়ু এবং জল দূষণ করছে আপনারা জানেন যে আমরা কিছুদিন আগে একটা গণশুনানি করেছি সেখানে আমাদের ওই অঞ্চল আন্দারমানিক নদী হলো ইলিশের অভয়ারণ্য এবং বাংলাদেশের জাতীয় অর্থনীতিতে সেটা প্রভাব ফেলে কিন্তু সেই নদীতে এখন আর কোনো ইলিশ পাওয়া যাচ্ছে না সে জেলেরা বলছে যে আগে যেখানে তারা প্রতি বেলায় 30 থেকে 40 কেজি ইলিশ পেত, এখন তারা 2-3টে ইলিশ পেলেই খুশি। তাদের জীবন মান অনেক নিচে নেমে গেছে। এটা তারা তাদের ভাষ্য অনুযায়ী এই রকমের পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টের গরম পানি নদীতে ফেলা, এবং হলো যে ওই পোর্টের যে বড় বড় জাহাজগুলো ওই আন্দারমানিক নদী থেকে যে আসা যাওয়া করে সেই জন্য, এবং ইলিশ যে সেন্সিটিভ না, আমি পায়রা হ্যাঁ, পায়রা আমাদের বন্দর, এবং হলো পায়রা পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট, পটুয়াখালী পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট, এটা চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট। এবং হলো যে আমার কথা হলো যে এই প্রকল্পগুলো নেয়ার আগে আসলে আমাদের বাণিজ্যিক সম্ভাবনা কতটুকু সেগুলো তো দেখাই হয়, তার সাথে সাথে হলো যে এই যে পরিবেশের বা আমাদের ইসের যে কতটুকু আমাদের অর্থনৈতিক ক্ষতি সেটাকে আসলে বিবেচনায় নেওয়া হয় কি না সেইটা মানে দেখতে হবে। আর হলো যে আমাদের এই সব প্রকল্পের কারণে যে ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট হচ্ছে, লাইভলিহুড হারাচ্ছে, সেখানে তারা ঠিকভাবে তাদের ক্ষতিপূরণ পাচ্ছে না, তাদের কর্মসংস্থান নাই, এবং এই যে নাই এটাকে জানানোর জন্য যদি কোনো চায়নার কাছে কোনো প্রসেস জানা নেয়, আর যদি থাকেও তারা প্রক্রিয়াশীল আচরণ, মানে তাদের কোনো উত্তর নাই, তাহলে এটার মানে সমাধানটা কি? এই জন্য হলো যে স্থানীয়ভাবে হলো আপনাদের বিশ্বাস অবিশ্বাসের একটা দ্বন্দ্ব থেকে যায় এই প্রজেক্টের সাথে, এগুলোকে সমাধান করতে হবে। যদি আমাদের এই বিআরআই থেকে খুব ভালো যদি আমাদের সুফল পেতে হয়, অবশ্যই হলো যে আমাদের উচ্চ সুদের ঋণ আসলে আমরা কতটুকু পরিশোধ করতে পারবো, আমাদের জাতীয় স্বার্থের সাথে আসলে কতটুকু যায়, এবং আমাদের আঞ্চলিক ইসের সাথে কতটুকু যায়, সেগুলো চিন্তা করে ভারসাম্য এবং লাভজনকীকে সময় দুই নীতিকে যদি সমন্বয় রেখে আমরা কাজ করতে পারি, তাহলে এই বিআরআই থেকে আমার মনে হয় যে আমরা ভালো কিছু পেতে পারি। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Mr. Shahzada.
I can contribute few of the things. Thank you, Mehdi bhai. Thank you, Clean and Business Standard, that's such organizing such a important issues that we are talking about. So, this is Mahatma Omnia. I'm young activist and working with the young people. So I love to working with the young generation. So I'm currently, organizing for the campaigns related to the young and renewable energy things. So I have some with the presentation, and I see few of the problem and risk, like implication for youth. So first is debt sustainability concern. So heavily interest burden could limit future government ability to invest in youth development, especially education training, especially also our rural female youth, we can contributing. So this is one, and second is limited local employment and skill transfer. So we can see some BRI project rely heavily on Chinese labor, reducing job creation for Bangladeshi young people. So this is one, and second is stronger clauses on the local hiring and technology transfer. So this is we can see, like, if any investment come in from any development countries, so they are basically recruiting their people, and they are not equipped our young generation. So this is second. Third is governance, transparency and procurement issues. So we need to see, there is a there is no transparency regarding the when procure something, or there's a governance issues. So this is third, and fourth is environmental and social risk. We can see the environmental and social risk, they are not thinking about the local environment and also social risks, and how we can adapting with the local people if any investment come in. So this is fourth. And fifth is inequality between region. So there is a inequality when investment is coming. So we need to address. So there is also another thing is a limited participation of youth. This is a top-down approach. Some policymaker, they are take the decision and they are just push it to the people. So this is a really top-down approach. There is no participation of the young people who are, as you see that in Bangladesh heavily dependent on the young people. We see that around 60 million young people right now in Bangladesh. So we don't have any dialogue with the young people. So we have to think about it. So there's a few of the way forwarding thing that we can think. Integrated youth development. This is one, and second is establishing BRI and Youth Skill Academy that we can introduce government, China, and private sector as well. And fourth one is promote local entrepreneur and SME linkages that would be really helpful our young people. And fourth is strengthening governance and transparency. So this is basically my way forwarding. Thank you.
Thank you. Ji, please.
Thank you so much, Rajat bhai. Sorry, anyone else? No, Munir bhai. Okay, go ahead. Munir bhai, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm from Ethical Trading Initiative, so maybe let's have a short briefing on the what ETA is doing. We are a tripartite organization consisting of business, basically European brands, global trade union and NGOs. So we are working in the supplies and promoting human rights and responsible purchasing practice. So I would like to talk from that angle, and again, I think the major issues already actually covered and identified. So considering that, rather I would like to looking forward to actually way forward. So based on that, I am echoing with the title of the policy brief, actually provided as BRI in Bangladesh, new opportunity, not without risks and cost. So I would like to actually focus on mitigation of risks and cost. When it comes to the risks and cost, basically related to the risks and cost related to workers' life and livelihood, climate, environment and economy and sustainability. So I think we need to have a holistic approach for mitigating cost and risks. And from that angle, I think responsible any kind of investment and business, I think it has to be based on the responsible business practice and based on the principle of United Nations guiding principle for business, where responsibility should go on the state, on business, and also worker and the other people need to have the remediation. So it's actually basically based on the principle of 3R. So any kind of investment, I think it has to be aligned with the United Nations guiding principle for business. And secondly, I would recommend any investment need to be aligned with the development priority of not only the particular country, I would say from bilateral interest and also actually global development priorities, aligning with the sustainable development goal, global climate commitment, and of course, decent work. Regarding the investment, especially, I would like to refer to the two industrial sector. One is RMG, and Mehdi bhai already mentioned about actually China has the investment in the RMG. But from the climate and renewable energy perspective, I think due to change in the, because we are actually exporting to the European countries, basically European countries and North American countries. From that angle, there is a change due to the due to the Human Rights Due Diligence Act in the Europe and also European Green Deal. Bangladesh RMG has to go to the from the transformation. From that angle, I think there is a scope for Chinese investment in the renewable energy to comply with the European requirements. So it would be actually business case for both countries. Again, I will also talk about the leather sector because 80% of the, I would say, semi-finished leather is actually exporting to the Chinese companies. And then China actually process and send it to American country, but they use third country because to avoid the tax imposition by the US government. So I think here there is a scope for business case for both countries. China can actually invest in our leather sector because our leather sector is environmentally not compliant for the international market, but China has their technology. So there is a scope for the joint venture. I think we can think of how it can be investment in the leather sector would be a business case for both countries. And already mentioned about the skill development. I think from the sustainability perspective, the most of the investment under this framework, if we look into the composition of the human resources, majority from Chinese part. But I think considering the technology transfer and skill development transfer, I think we need to look into how this kind of initiative actually improve local capacity. And finally, I think we talk about limited bidding process, and especially because if any kind of investment impose the interlocked market, is against actually principle of market economy. So I think we need to look into that process, actually how it should not be contingent to, but other any kind of procurement should be based on the competitive process. And definitely we need to look into the freedom of association, worker voice, and collective bargaining, especially under this framework. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Muni. Thank you. Ji, please, update.
Thank you, Shajid Bhai, and thank you all the. This is secondarily Meena, working for an NGO called Safety and Rights Society. Actually, it's a labor rights based NGO, but we work in other areas as well. And thank you all the designated speakers who actually already brought in the table about economic, environmental, and some social areas. But since I am working for protecting the labor rights, and it is absent till it is absent to raise this issue here as well. So we have to. I want to present myself, bringing breaking these into three parts. It's one is opportunities, the second one is challenges, and the remedial process or recommendations, whatever you can. Opportunities already have talked about some opportunities, but there is huge opportunity for job creation as well. And that job creation, what is lack is skill transfer, because it is yet to do. And especially in engineering, digital technologies, and infrastructure management skills. And then second opportunity, there is huge opportunity for improved economic competitiveness. Okay, so because that BRI already have invested in a special economic zone in Anuara, in Chattogram. So that special economic zone could be an opportunity for introduce more industry, more business, or more production. And then there is a opportunity for young youth and women as well, because BRI investment actually creates some ancillary sectors like transport, service, logistics. So youth and women could be involved in these ancillary sectors as well. So that's the opportunity, but we should consider the risk or challenges that already have talked about a little bit, not in the perspective of workers or labor, because labor always is a neglected area in Bangladesh and all over the globe as well. So thus, the main challenges that laborers face is very weak labor standard in most of the infrastructure projects. Because there's Tanmar Bhai talked about the long working hours and unsafe working condition, but there is huge lack of limited access in grievance mechanism. There is very low grievance mechanism, and then second, it's freedom of association and right to organize. It's very absent because workers have very little scope to be organized, and they cannot, they cannot assemble, they cannot, be associated, and there is no way, there is no scope to form trade union over there, because it is actually discouraged to form a trade union. So there should have, and collective bargaining process is absent, clearly absent. And participating in workers' committee, there are, in Bangladesh laws, there are some sort of, factory-based or committees. So
please be short.
Yeah, I am coming. Draw my conclusion is very soon. I have to raise that's about OSH, occupational safety and health issues. It is also, there is low monitoring system and inspection system. So what should be our remedy? What the government, the state, I would to bring it in a way that's there. The states have some responsibility, the government have some responsibility, and also the the industries or the business owners, they have the responsibility. So in Bangladesh, actually, states, we should have a good very concrete mechanism, especially for procurement and also the labor rights issues. There should have a mechanism. We have the labor law, but we don't have the clear guideline about when the foreign direct investment or when any investment like BRI invest in Bangladesh, we have very low guideline or state mechanism, and the government have very low inspection system. And if we consider about justice is absent here. If we talk about just and equitable approach, that is very absent. So we should finally, that there should have a very, that I already have talked, just grievance mechanisms, workers' participation should have.
Please
and
don't
yes,
repeat it. Finish.
Yeah, and the final comments. There's we need development, but in the cost of what? In the cost of our rights, in the cost of our dignity, in the cost of our justice. Is it? So the question is there. Thank you very much.
Now I want to request Mr. Abrar Ahmed Bhuiya, CPD. Okay.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm Abrar, a researcher at the Center for Policy Dialogue. I actually work in energy investment. So I would like to address the issue of the investment, why China is actually investing a lot in non-renewables and not in renewables in Bangladesh's context. So in our recent dialogue that is titled Addressing Institutional Challenges in Renewable Energy Sector of Bangladesh, the case of overseas Chinese investment. I'm pleased that Mr. Han was also there as a guest, and he is also present today. So there we actually discussed the investment facilitation scenario of Bangladesh. We actually discussed the aspects of e-governance, the registration system, anti-corruption system, the transparency and regulatory system, actually. So what we see is that China has interest to grow their business around the renewable sector in Bangladesh, and they are actually very keen to invest in Bangladesh, but the operational barriers, the regulatory barriers are actually hindering the growth actually. So from the supply side it's actually okay, but from the demand side the government is actually not ready. And if I want to specify like that, there are Chinese investment, they have interest to invest in wind energy, but the SREDA does not have a policy yet. They don't have a concrete guideline yet. They're actually in process of developing the guidelines, but that will take some time. So the investors are ready, but the government is not ready to actually cater to the investor. And also about the presentation, I want to highlight is that the presentation actually mentioned that there are risk and negative events in the BRI projects in Bangladesh. But we should also remember that the issue comes mostly from the Bangladesh's own governance situation and not from China. Problems like disputes, delays, corruptions happen in many big projects, no matter which country is involved. Bangladesh has a long-standing weakness in monitoring environment checks and land issues and anti-corruption system. So any foreign investor, whether it is Chinese, Japanese, Indian, or others, should work inside the same environment. So China, so another issue is why we are seeing a large number of incidents in Chinese projects. Because we actually mentioned that the China is one of the largest, biggest partner in terms of infrastructure and energy projects in Bangladesh. So it is very likely, it's a probability game, that we will hear more about Chinese events more, actually, and these will be highlighted more. So this is it. Also China is not only cooperating with Bangladesh. Under the BRI initiative, China is actually partnering with other countries, as we know. So in other countries, there are good governance. So China is actually complying with their system as well. So we have to ask, if are we ready? Because as Mr. Han already mentioned, that China is actually on a learning curve, and Bangladesh is also. So there is scope to learn for China and Bangladesh as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Gauranganandi from CEPR, Center for Environment and Participatory Research. Participants, moderator, and presentation. Presenter Mr. Hassan Mehdi has explained the whole thing, but I would like to mention 2 points. Because China has been playing, it's my observation, playing a double standard role. How is it? China set a national goal to achieve the carbon neutrality before 2060. But China is investing a lot of huge money in the fossil fuel section. And not only that, China, in the name of clean energy, they are investing huge amount in the make a large dam, the Yarlu Sangpo, they are making a world largest dam, which is, though in the upper portion in the Brahmaputra, and we are sitting the lower part, which is the very, very environmentally and we are the vulnerable people. Actually, they will be trying to withdraw the water and make the clean energy. They are saying, actually, it is a debate. The hydro is the clean energy or not, and they are investing. They are planning to invest a mega port in the bay, just lower part of the Myanmar, which is very close to the Chittagong. And then this is also the geopolitical issues and matter. Actually, they are planning to investment like that point. Not only the investment, what they are saying, their policy guidelines, actually they are not investing to control over the areas issues also. That is why they are planning to make these whole arena in the umbrella, under the umbrella of BRI. That is, I think, it should be considered, and civil society people or the national governments also should speak about these issues. Not only these are our investment in our area, our project in our country, within the country, other area also, it should be considered. It should be said also that what is my position, what is our position regarding these issues. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think there are some other speakers, please.
Thank you. This is Sam Nazir Hussain. I'm working with the ISD Bangladesh. Basically, we are based in Chittagong and Cox's Bazar area. We are member of the BWGED. So, Hassan Mehdi bhai already explained everything. And as a citizen of the Chittagong area, we are appeal to the Chinese people to implement the recommendation of Hassan Mehdi by what he is explaining. So basically, we know that in Chittagong and Cox's Bazar area, many investment are there in Chinese investment. Along with the Chinese, many business community people are active in this area. So all the people are explaining what is from, as a citizen of the country, we want from the Chinese people. Green investment, clean investment, and also honor the human right violation. So, and labor rights issue, then our investment will be the fruitful and community will be benefited from this investment. If it is violation, then there will be another incident what we know about the Bashkali tragedy, which was back in very low, many people, so many people are crashes in clashes. So thank you again for giving the opportunity to participate this.
Thank you. Shaukat Ara Begum? No. Apni, please, want to speak?
থ্যাংক ইউ। আমি বাংলা একটু প্রেফার করি। আমি রেবেকা সুলতানা, নির্বাহী পরিচালক অন্নচিত্র ফাউন্ডেশন। এখানে আসার পর বিআরআই নিয়ে যে আমরা কথাগুলো বলছিলাম, স্পেশালি মেহেদি ভাইয়ের প্রেজেন্টেশনে আমাদের ব্যাকলগস, গুড থিংস সব কিছুই চলে এসছে। তারপর যারা পরপর বললেন সবই এসছে, কিন্তু আমি শুধু স্পেসিফিক মাঠের মানুষ, মাঠের মতো করে কথা বলতে চাই। সেটা হলো যে কি হয়েছে আর কি পাবো। নীতি নির্ধারকরা একভাবে বলবেন, কিন্তু আমার একটা দাবি নিয়ে এসছি আজকে, যেহেতু চাইনিজ অথরিটি এখানে সরাসরি আছেন। সেক্ষেত্রে কেওয়াটখালী স্টিল আর্চ ব্রিজ যেটা হচ্ছে, এটা নিয়ে আমরা আসলে অনেক কিছুই জানি, কিন্তু ওখানে স্পটে গিয়ে দেখা গেল যে আমাদের যে ইনফরমেশন বোর্ডটা, সেই ইনফরমেশন বোর্ডটাও আমাদের ঠিকভাবে নাই, খুব অস্পষ্ট করে আছে। এটা পরিষ্কার থাকা উচিত। তারপর রোডস অ্যান্ড হাইওয়েতে যোগাযোগ করে, হাইওয়ের অফিসে যখন যোগাযোগ করলাম, ওটা একটা বড় ফাইল, ওটা নিয়ে বসতে হবে, ওটা নিয়ে বুঝতে হবে। মানে পরিষ্কারভাবে যে আমরা বুঝতে চাই, বা কোনো স্পিচ কারো কাছ থেকে পাওয়া যায়নি। এটা থেকেও বোঝা যায় যে না, এখানে কিছু। তারপর ভূমি অধিগ্রহণ, মানে প্রসেস যেগুলো আমাদের আছে, সেগুলোতে আমার কাছে অনেক অস্পষ্ট মনে হয়েছে। এগুলো নিয়ে আমাদের আসলে কথা বলা দরকার, যে যা হয়েছে আমাদের চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টমেন্টে আমরা যা পাচ্ছি, তার চেয়েও বড় কথা যেটা চলছে সেটাকে যেন আমরা ঠিকভাবে সময়ের মধ্যে শেষ করতে পারি, যাতে হচ্ছে যে পারপাস যেটা ছিল, যে আমাদের দুই প্রান্তের যোগাযোগ বাড়বে, নদীর যেটা নৌ চলাচলটা বৃদ্ধি পাবে। স্টিল আর্চ ব্রিজ যেহেতু, এটার পিলার পাইলিংগুলো থাকবে না ওইভাবে, কিন্তু যেভাবে নদী খনন এবং তার ম্যাটেরিয়াল, ওই আর্চ ব্রিজ নির্মাণের যে ম্যাটেরিয়ালগুলো যেভাবে স্তূপ করে রাখা হচ্ছে, তাতে হচ্ছে হ্যাঁ আমরা জানি প্রতিটা অবকাঠামো উন্নয়নের সময়ই আমাদের জনদুর্ভোগের শেষ থাকে না, কিন্তু এটার মধ্যেও আমরা একটু যেটা বলবো যে দীর্ঘশ্বাস ফেলতে পারি বা কাউকে কোনো বলতে পারি, কিন্তু এখানে অ্যাকিউজ করার মতো একজন অথরিটিও নেই, যে এখানের যে যারা ভূমি অধিগ্রহণ তো ঠিকভাবে হয়নি, এখানে যারা জনবসতি যেটা আছে স্বাভাবিক কার্যক্রম পর্যন্ত তারা চালাতে পারছে না, এই দুরবস্থায় আছে। অনেক ধন্যবাদ আপনাদের কাছে।
So I think we're please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Ashraful Islam Rana. I'm basically communication consultant, Global Strategic Communication Council, Bangladesh. Firstly, I am seeking to permission to speak my in Bengali, because আমি যেটা বলতে চাই সেটা বাংলায় বললে সবচেয়ে ভালো হবে আর কি। তো আমি আসলে খুব শর্টলি একটু বলতে চাই যে দেখুন, বিআরআই বা বেল্ট অ্যান্ড রোড ইনিশিয়েটিভ একটা গ্লোবাল ফিলোসফি আছে। সেই ফিলোসফিটার হচ্ছে বেসিক্যালি হলো ওয়েস্টের সাথে স্পেসিফিক যদি আমরা বলি, আমেরিকা যেহেতু গ্লোবালি তারা মেরিটাইম বাউন্ডারি এবং গ্লোবালি এটা কন্ট্রোল করছে, স্পেশালি মানে মিলিটারি অ্যান্ড হচ্ছে বিজনেস ইকোনমিক ইয়েটাও তারা কন্ট্রোল করছে। ফলে চায়না যেহেতু গ্লোবাল রাইজিং সুপার পাওয়ার, ফলে তারা হচ্ছে প্রাচীন যেটা এনশিয়েন্ট সিল্ক রোড বলছি আমরা, সেই এনশিয়েন্ট সিল্ক রোডটা স্পেশালি মিডল ইস্ট, ইউরোপ, আফ্রিকা অ্যান্ড রেস্ট অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড, তারা হচ্ছে এটাকে কানেক্টিভিটি করতে চায় বাই রোডের দ্বারা, এবং এটা গ্লোবালি হচ্ছে। এবং আমাদের এই অঞ্চলে একটা কানেক্টিভিটি মানে রোড কানেক্টিভিটি যেটা ফ্রি ট্রেড ইকোনমির মধ্যে তারা আনতে চাচ্ছিল বা চাচ্ছে, অনেকদিন ধরে এই ডিসকাশনটা আছে, বাট এটা হচ্ছিল না বা হয় নাই এখনও, যেখানে এখানে গ্লোবাল রিজিওনাল পলিটিক্যাল টেনশন আছে, স্পেশালি সাউথ অ্যান্ড সাউথ ইস্ট এশিয়ায়। আমরা জানি যে বিসিআইএম নামে একটা প্রজেক্ট আমাদের বাংলাদেশ, চায়না, ইন্ডিয়া এবং হচ্ছে মিয়ানমারের মধ্যে হবার কথা ছিল, রিজিওনাল কানেক্টিভিটি আনার কথা ছিল। কিন্তু আমরা জানি ইন্ডিয়া এবং চায়নার মধ্যে যে গ্লোবাল মানে রিজিওনাল টেনশন আছে এবং মিয়ানমার আনস্টেবল হয়ে গেছে, এবং অন্যান্য দেশগুলোর সঙ্গে চায়নার একটা মানে বিশেষ করে ইস্ট এশিয়ান কান্ট্রিগুলোর সঙ্গে তার একটা সংকট রয়েছে, যার কারণে এই সংকটগুলো আসলে হচ্ছে না। মানে একটা যে মেজর যেটা থিম, অর্থাৎ আমি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছি যে বিআরআইয়ের যে মেজর থিমটা সেটা আসলে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হচ্ছে না, বাট বিআরআইয়ের আন্ডারে যে মানে ইন্টারনাল ডোমেস্টিক ইনভেস্টমেন্ট যেগুলো করার কথা মানে চায়নার আন্ডারে, সেগুলো কিন্তু হচ্ছে। কিন্তু এখানে যে সংকটটা দেখা যাচ্ছে, যদি আমরা আমেরিকা এবং হচ্ছে চায়নার যে ইকোনমিক ফিলোসফিগত যে কম্পিটিশন, সেই জায়গা থেকে যদি দেখি যে আমেরিকা আসলে যেভাবে গ্লোবালি ইনভেস্টমেন্টগুলো করে, তাহলে চায়নার যদি আমরা ইনভেস্টমেন্ট যদি আমরা একটু মানে বিপরীত দিক থেকে চিন্তা করি, তাহলে চায়নার ইনভেস্টমেন্টগুলো আসলে একটু আমেরিকান ইনভেস্টমেন্টের উল্টো দিকে হওয়া উচিত বলে আমরা আশা করি, কিন্তু আনফর্চুনেটলি সেটা হচ্ছে না। দেখবেন যে আমেরিকা গ্লোবালি তারা ফসিল ফিউল ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ব্যাপক আকারে করে, এবং আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি রিসেন্ট টাইমে বাংলাদেশে তারা যে ট্যারিফ করেছে, এবং তারা বলছে যে অধিক পরিমাণে এলএনজি কিনতে হবে, আমেরিকা এটা ইম্পোজ করছে আমাদের উপরে, এবং আমরা এটা করছি। এবং মানে আমরা অন্য সাইডে যদি আবার চায়নার ইনভেস্টমেন্টগুলো দেখি, চায়নাও কিন্তু অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম আমাদের উপরে ফসিল ফিউল অনেক বেশি চাপিয়ে দিচ্ছে। আমি যেহেতু এনার্জি নিয়ে কাজ করি, ফলে এনার্জির বিষয়টা আমি একটু ভালো করে বলতে পারবো। আমি খুব সংক্ষেপে এটা শেষ করে দিচ্ছি যে হ্যাঁ, আমাদের অবশ্যই মানে বেস লোড পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট অবশ্যই দরকার, যেহেতু আমরা চাচ্ছি যে আমরা একটা ডেভেলপিং নেশন হব বাই 2041। কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে যে চায়নার যে ইনভেস্টমেন্টে আমাদের যে কোল ফায়ার্ড পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টগুলো হচ্ছে, সেখানে ডেথ বার্ডেন যে আমরা ফরেন লোনের যে একটা ব্যাপক রিস্ক এখানে তৈরি হচ্ছে, সেটা আমরা খুব ভালোভাবে দেখতে পাচ্ছি। স্পেশালি আমি দুইটা প্রজেক্টের কথাই বলি। পায়রা নিয়ে উনি কথা বলেছেন, উনি এনভায়রনমেন্টাল ইস্যুটা বলেছেন, যে পায়রা নিয়ে আমাদের 2020 সালে চালু হওয়ার পর একটা পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট মানে কোল বেসড পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট খুব ভালোভাবে আমাদের বাংলাদেশে চলছে, সেটা হলো পায়রা। কিন্তু এই পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টের লোন রিপেমেন্ট নিয়ে দফায় দফায় কিন্তু আমাদের এখানে সংকট তৈরি হচ্ছে। আমাদের বিপিডিবি টাকা রিপে করতে পারছে না, মানে তারা যে বিদ্যুৎ ক্রয় করে সেই বিদ্যুৎ ক্রয়ের টাকাটা দিতে পারছে না। অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম আমরা যেহেতু বিপুল পরিমাণ মানে ফসিল ফিউল ইম্পোর্ট করতে গিয়ে আমাদের ডলার ড্রেন্ড হয়ে গেছে। আমরা 2022 সালের পর আমাদের বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক কিন্তু মোটামুটি শূন্য হয়ে যাওয়ার মতো অবস্থা তৈরি হয়েছিল। তো ফলে আমরা আসলে ডলার দিয়ে লোন রিপে করা নিয়ে একটা বড় সংকট তৈরি হচ্ছে। একই সাথে নতুন করে যে চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টমেন্টে পটুয়াখালী কোল ফায়ার্ড পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টটা হয়েছে, সেখানেও কিন্তু একই অবস্থা তৈরি হচ্ছে। আপনারা যদি এই কোল ফায়ার্ড পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টের যদি পারফরমেন্সটা দেখেন, 1.5 বছর ধরে চলছে পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্টটা, 1320 মেগাওয়াটের একটা পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট খুবই নমিনাল সাইজ অফ পাওয়ার প্রোডাকশন করছে। এটা কিন্তু আমাদের জন্য একটা ব্যারিয়ার তৈরি করছে, একটা বড় রিস্ক তৈরি করছে। এটা একটা দিক গেল। আমার সিপিডি যিনি বলেছেন যে আমি শুধু এটা খুবই সংক্ষেপে আমাদের ফসিল ফিউল রিস্কটা বললাম, যে আমাদের কি পরিমাণ চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টমেন্টের পাশাপাশি আমাদের কিভাবে ঝুঁকিটা তৈরি হচ্ছে। একদিকে আমাদের প্রজেক্টগুলো খুব ভালোভাবে পারফরমেন্স করতে পারছে না, অন্যদিকে রিস্ক আমাদের বেড়ে যাচ্ছে এবং লোন রিপে করা নিয়ে আমরা একটা ঝুঁকি তৈরি হচ্ছে, বা দেউলিয়াত্বের দিকে আমরা যাবো কিনা সেটা একটা আমাদের ভাবনার বিষয় হয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছে। সেকেন্ডলি যেটা রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জির যে বিষয়টা আসছে এখানে, খুবই সত্য কথা, খুবই ট্রু যে আসলে আমরা চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট এখানে যে ওয়েলকাম করব, যে আমাদের আসলে রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জিতে আমরা দেখেন, আপনারা যদি দেখেন আমাদের 3-4টা পলিসি আছে আসলে রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জির উপরে। তো সেই পলিসিগুলো আসলে 3-4 ধরনের টার্গেট আসলে ফিক্সড করা, মানে এতটা এলোমেলো আমরা খুব ভালোভাবে এটাকে রিস্ক করতে পারছি না। যে বিশেষ করে এমডিভি যারা আছে আমাদের ফরেন লাইক চায়না, ফরেন যারা ইনভেস্টর আছে তাদেরকে আমরা করতে পারছি না। একই সাথে পলিটিক্যাল টার্মোয়েল অবস্থা, এখানে আসলে খুব ভালোভাবে আসলে রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জির উপরে আমাদের রাষ্ট্রের যে ফোকাসটা হওয়া দরকার ছিল, সেই ফোকাসটা আসলে এখনও রিনিউয়েবল এনার্জি বেসড না। কোনো কারণে আসলে আমাদের সরকার, আমাদের পলিসি, আমাদের পলিটিক্যাল গ্রুপস এবং আমলাতন্ত্র আসলে তারা যে কোনোভাবেই হোক গ্লোবাল ইন্টারেস্টের সাথে কানেক্টেড, এবং তারা আসলে ফসিল ফিউয়েলকেই আসলে ফোকাস করে, যে কারণে আসলে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আসলে আমাদের এখানে চায়নার মতো গুরুত্বপূর্ণ পার্টনার যারা আসলে আমাদের এখানে আরও এনভায়রনমেন্ট ফ্রেন্ডলি ইনভেস্টমেন্ট করতে পারতো, তারা আসলে ফসিল ফিউয়েলের দিকে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
আমি বেনজির আহমেদ, আমি ক্যাপাসিটি অ্যাডভাইজার ক্লিন। আমার নতুন করে আর কিছু বলার নেই, অলরেডি সমস্ত আলোচনাগুলো এসছে। বিআরআই আমাদের মতো দেশগুলোর জন্য এটা খুবই আশীর্বাদ। আমেরিকার বিপরীতে গোটা বিশ্বকে একত্রিত করতে হলে বিআরআইয়ের মতো উদ্যোগ ডেফিনেটলি থাকা দরকার। কিন্তু এই উদ্যোগ বাস্তবায়ন করতে যেয়ে আমাদের মধ্যে যে অসুবিধাগুলো তৈরি হচ্ছে, সেই অসুবিধাগুলো একই সাথে আমাদের একটু বিবেচনায় নেওয়া দরকার। যেমন ইতোমধ্যে রায়ন ভাই উল্লেখ করেছেন যে আফ্রিকার মতো দেশগুলোতেও সেখানে গ্রিভেন্স মিটিগেশনের জন্য এক ধরনের মেকানিজম তারা ডেভেলপ করতে পেরেছে, কিন্তু আমাদের মতো দেশগুলো বাঁশখালীতে যেমন অনেকগুলো শ্রমিক জীবন দেয়, তারা নিহত হয়, তাদের নালিশ করবার মতো কোনো জায়গা থাকে না। আমাদের শাহজাদা ভাই উল্লেখ করেছেন যে তাদের প্রকল্পের গরম পানি নদীতে পড়ছে, মাছ আসছে না, ধরা পড়ছে না। প্রকল্পগুলো নেবার আগে স্থানীয় জনগণের কোনো ইনভলভমেন্ট, তাদেরকে সম্পৃক্ত করা হয়নি। ফলে এই অসুবিধাগুলো যদি আমরা দূর করতে পারি, তাহলে হয়তো যে কথা একটু আগে আমাদের জিসিএসসির ভাই বলছিলেন যে এটা দেউলিয়ত্বের দিকে যাবে কিনা, সেটা হয়তো বন্ধ করা যেতে পারে যদি আমরা এই মিটিগেশন মেজারগুলো যদি আমরা নিতে পারি এবং এটাকে যদি বাস্তবায়ন করতে পারি, তাহলে এটা হয়তো আমাদের জন্য আশীর্বাদ হয়ে আসতে পারে। ধন্যবাদ সকলকে। খুবই প্রাণবন্ত এবং ফলপ্রসূ আলোচনা হয়েছে। আমি আমার পক্ষ থেকে আপনাদের সকলের প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি। ধন্যবাদ।
Yeah, I just want to raise an issue about renewable energy investment, and I agree with everything that was said earlier. But as we are looking at the largest amount of development finance flows globally in the sector, it's moving towards critical minerals mining. And China is heavily invested in critical minerals mining of cobalt and lithium, especially in Latin America. I think most of the investment in Latin America is aiming at mining, as well as Africa as well, and it's looking at Southeast Asia critical minerals deposits in Indonesia and Philippines. Now, bringing back to what Gorungu Nondidas said, that you had the Kyaukphu, I don't know how to say it, the Kyaukphu port in Myanmar, the new deep sea port in Myanmar, which China has invested. It has a transmission line, a pipeline, and a road which reaches Yunnan, right? And you're 200 nautical miles away from Chittagong. And Iskandar Bhai said that we have the Anwara Special Economic Zone there. I'm just wishful thinking, right? So you're trying to move away from the Malacca Strait for energy security reasons, and you want to go that way. And your fossil fuel and oil is coming from the Middle East. Your critical minerals are coming from Africa and Latin America and Southeast Asia. If you're going to stop in Kyaukphu, why don't you drop off some critical minerals to Chittagong, create a renewable energy solar production hub so that we don't have to have the trouble of importing regulations and fixing that. And I'm sure if the genuine interest is there for renewable energy investment, then the economic zones that we have should be producing solar panels. And if you have the minerals going this way, I think you need to talk to some people.
So, Mr. Han, so yes, there are many issues, came here, BRI, its, problems and potentials. But one point has come here, though you are not from the Chinese government authority, I know you are representing private sector. So, but the point, about the disclosure of different kind of loan agreements and the grievance mechanism method, so these are very two important issues raised by many speakers, which actually I expect something from you that actually suggestions for Bangladesh, what can Bangladesh do, and your points. Please be very brief.
Thank you so much, everyone, to give a little patience to me. I spent a little time, not so much. Okay, there are several keywords. The first one is development priorities. So as several discussants mentioned. So why China, including China and Bangladesh, wants to prioritize infrastructure sector? Used to China have 4 to 5% of GDP invested in the infrastructure, which proves to be successful because in China we have seen that if you want to be rich, please make your road ready. So this is the thing. So that's why infrastructure is quite important for the economic development. So that's why China do that. Not only Bangladesh do that, other countries also do that. So this is so that's why. So because the budget is limited, when you put more budget to the infrastructure, you will for sure scrutinize. Squeeze the budget of others. So always need to be a balance, and the government should consider that what is my prioritized area which I can develop my economy and leverage in my economic development. So this is the things that why infrastructure. Regarding the trade imbalance, and also Mr. Riyad mentioned that why Chinese don't put some components, materials in Bangladesh and have the renewable sectors. We are trying with this actually since last year. I myself personally receive around 4 to 5, even 6 delegations, big delegations from China. They are mixed delegations. Some are renewable investors, some are renewable manufacturing companies, factories. So their target coming is looking for whether they can relocate their factories to Bangladesh. And also some investors consider whether they can make it renewable investment in Bangladesh. So together I would like to see that finally some people feel a little bit frustrated because, so take the factory first. When we have a renewable solar factory, we need silicons. For sure, silicon is a basic things. And also there's walls and other materials which not available at this moment in Bangladesh. And when the investor come to have a factory here, they need to import there from China, here from China, there from other countries. And our tariff is not that lower. So finally, their investment cost is quite higher than in China. So they prefer that I rather to take my product to Bangladesh ready-made rather than I will have a factory here. So this come to the free trade agreement between two countries. You see, now it is a critical moment that why this FTA is important, because in ready-made garments and also in other sectors, a lot of Chinese investors are going into abroad to make investment. They go to Vietnam, they go to Cambodia, they even go to Africa countries to looking for destinations, relocate to their factories. So if our government-to-government framework are there, that their materials, equipments could be imported at a lower rate, then they assemble manufacturing here, re-export to other countries. For sure, some portion will selling in, depends on demand, selling in the domestic market. Then this leveraging effect is quite significant. But so far, I feel that some people think that, yes, already there are big trade imbalance. If I sign the FTA, more influx of Chinese product will come to Bangladesh. Then our trade imbalance will even getting worsened. But they didn't think about the second half, that if here could be an export manufacturing hub and export to other countries. So here the job opportunity will increase, revenue will increase, and industry formulation may come one day in the future. So this is the idea people should consider. So the trade imbalance, free trade agreement, it is a comprehensive and systematic ideas. So regarding the coal, actually, to be very frankly, Chinese government, it is still doing the coal power plant investment. Not as many years before, but they still to do so, because China still, the energy is not surplus, is sometimes, deficit. So they need different kind of powers. Renewable power now develop very fast. And also some portion of a coal-fired power plant to balance the renewable, because too much renewable will create much more impact on the grid. So they need a balancing power. So they use pump storage hydropower stations. They use coal-fired power plants to balance the impact which created by renewable energies. So that means, we need to achieve a balance that the grid could be benefited and also economy could be benefited. And regarding the 2030-2060 about the carbon neutral and the carbon peak. So China is trying to do that. Just the gentleman mentioned that maybe there are some unfair situation that you will achieve your carbon neutral and a carbon peak, but you leave other carbons to other countries. I personally don't agree, because actually when China is trying their own efforts to achieve their goals, they didn't bring extra, spillover effect to other countries, so far as I feel. And also for the transparency and also labor rights, human rights matters. To be very frankly, yes, there are cases. At least from the newspapers, there are some reports. But I appreciated that action should be taken collaboratively. So it is not about only one end that you bring so much bad things to us, then you should bear all the responsibilities. I think that every organization, including government, also supposed to take some measures, because the BRI is a kind of initiative mainly address two matters. One is infrastructure gap. Another one is policy gap. So when you have infrastructure, so needs to communicate in the policy level that some policy may be lacking at this moment. So we are supposed to make it improved, even make it better to address the upcoming new situations. I think that is very required. So finally, I would like to take the World Bank study report, only a few sentences. I would like to conclude my comments. So the World Bank do analysis that the analysis shows that Belt and Road transport corridors, so only focus on transport, have the potential to substantially improve trade, foreign investment, and the living condition for citizens in the initiative's participating country. Countries that live along the Belt and Road corridor are ill-served by existing infrastructure and by a variety of policy gaps. As a result, they undertrade by 30% and fall short of their potential FDI by 70%. BRI transport corridor will help in two critical ways: lowering travel times and increasing trade and investment. The study estimated that trade will grow from between 2.8 to 9.7% for corridor economies, and between 1.7 to and 6.2% for the world. So countries that have a comparative advantage in time-sensitive sectors such as fruits and vegetables, or that require time-sensitive input like electronics will be among the biggest winner. Importantly, low-income countries are expected to see a significant 6.7% increase in foreign direct investment due to the new transportation links. Also, they mentioned that, yes, complementary policy reform are essential for the countries to unlock BRI benefits. Real income from BRI corridor economy could be 2 to 4 times larger if trade facilitation is improved and the trade restrictions are reduced. Building infrastructure is inherently risky. Mitigating this risk will require improvements in data reporting, transparency. This is the topic of our discussion, especially around that. It will require open government procurement and adhere to high social and environmental standards. Especially the last sentence, I think, should listen by all stakeholders, including governments, investors, and others, that transparency truly is very important. But I think that everyone should bear in mind that this is very important. So far as I know, the company I was working for, since the last 2 or even 3 to 4 years ago, they start to do their, initially they call social responsibility report annually, and now they publish their ESG report every year. So this is how kind of a vulnerable, it is a kind of a voluntary action, but still I think if government and the financial institutions and also the companies can have some consensus that while we are doing this, please put such clauses in that, and there is inspection measures to make sure that such kind of things happen in a proper way. Thank you so much.
So any member companies of your, any Chinese Enterprises Association in Bangladesh, as you say, 250 companies are your members.
Yes.
So any of those companies publish USG report here?
There is a two-way. One way, because some joint venture company, for example, the Pyro one is between CMC and Northwest Power, and the Budua Kali is a kind of a Norinco, RPC and Norinco. So and also still there are some IPPs fully invested by themselves. So different company will have their different ways. For example, the company I was work for, they keep such different invested project in different country in their corporate ESG report. So in that, there will be some coverage. But I'm thinking that in the future, if government have such enforcement, that the joint venture company could also issue their ESG report, social responsibility report. I think that is also very important. So thank you so much, everyone, to give me so much
Thank you,
time.
Mr. Han. So actually, yeah, we're 20 minutes extra already. So we are hungry definitely. So I'll not take your time much. So now I'm going to just hand over the mic to Dr. Qazi Maruful Islam to conclude this session, wrap up this session just briefly. Then we'll have lunch. You can take away the packets or eat your.
Thank you once again. I was listening to all of your conversation and I was actually learning a lot of new things, new ideas and new insights, particularly in relation to these Belt and Road initiatives and its potential and opportunities in Bangladesh. As it appears that through your conversation that of course we appreciate Belt and Road initiatives as a kind of an very important element for Bangladesh development or economic development trajectory for sure. However, the concerns are very important as well, as we are very happy that Mr. Han from this Chinese business community in Bangladesh have also acknowledged the very fact that we do need transparency, we need the disclaimer of the information of the companies, the way they are doing business here. And for us, it is for sure that sustainability concerns are not an option. We have to make it a essential compliance for all the companies, no matter whether domestic companies or foreign companies doing business in Bangladesh. So it is a must. And as it comes from your discussion that our communities are being affected seriously, I thank our young colleagues that she brought up the issue of health impact, and also again I also thank Mamoon for bringing up the skill transfer issues for the youth. In order to make our relationship between China and Bangladesh sustainable, it is largely depending on the people-to-people connection. Still, the connection is between government to government. Now it is moving from government to business, B2B. But those two are important for sure. They are in this government is in the steering in the steering of this entire relationship. But in order to make it sustainable, in order to make it beneficial for both the communities, it is the people, they need to be connected. And particularly in that relation, we need the civil society to come forward. They can engage in both countries. They can exchange information. They can collaborate on different projects and ideas, in addition to all those investment projects. And of course, we cannot forget about human rights issues, labor rights issues. Those are the areas already mentioned in our came up in our conversation. But at the same time, I also thank Mr. Representative from CPD to highlight the very fact that it is just not only the Chinese investors or the financing institutions. It is largely depending on the domestic government. It is we, the people like who have the responsibility for both to make to bridge the policy gaps so that we can attract more and more investment, which is feasible, which is culturally compatible to our country for sure. But at the same time, it is the government that bears the large part of the responsibility to make other companies compliant to the standards. So at the end of the day, it is us, like it is the people of Bangladesh. They should pressurize, or they should demand, and they should be engaged with the government of Bangladesh to make others compatible, to make others compliant to different kinds of standards. So again, it lead us to the very fact that our government needs to be transparent and democratic and listen to the people's voice. So and I hope that with this transition, we will be able to be in a situation where the government will listen more to their own people, and will facilitate the investment environment in a way that will bring in more and more investment from outside of the country, and also will take care of the rights of the communities, rights of the people in our country as well. So with that note, I again thank you very much, like the people, the esteemed colleagues joining from different organizations, media, civil society organization. I really appreciate your input and interventions, and hopefully it will help us to sharpen our ideas and the policy brief which we are going to present. So thank you, Mehdi. Thank you, the Business Standard, and thank you all once again. Thank you so much.